to use my own lapel when submitting my partner on top. They call it a scarf choke, they call it like a tourniquet, assassin choke, I don't know, there's so many names to things, but we're just going to be using our far lapel, okay? So, just a reminder while we're here on side control, if you are maintaining your partner here where both your arms are on the same side, it'll be easy for your partner to escape their hips. And now they're so far away, by the time I'm here, I have so much space to, I have to regain, okay? Another thing too is, I prefer to have active toes, and I don't mean active toes where like, back then we would hear like, oh, when you're in side control.
Hey, Sob right here, I'm sorry for interrupting you watching this video. I have great news. You can watch Aratos BJJ on demand right now, 100% free. You go on the weekly series, we have like pretty much courses every week about the techniques that we teach here at Aratos headquarters. Go there right now in the description below, click on the link, and then you're gonna go straight forward to our weekly series category. And then right there, you're gonna click and you're gonna watch the first class, 100% free, 100% free, okay? And please, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, okay, on our channel, and I appreciate that. Keep watching, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Us.
Toes, knees off the mat, and you have to be like this, right? But there's all that space underneath me for my partner to like bring their knees inside, okay? So I like to be here, my knees connected to his hip, my elbows on the outside. This is my preference of control. Whether I'm hugging the head, or I'm holding the collar, or if I have an underhook. Now, if I have an underhook, I have to try, for me to pin him and not let him move, I have to make sure that my shoulder stays above his shoulder. Because if I stay too low, he could turn away really fast, and then now I have left to deal with this. And some people are really confident and good in their defense. So if you are deciding to have the underhook, make sure your shoulder is above their shoulder. Now, if Eric tries to turn away, it makes it difficult, okay? Unless he really tries, right? Go ahead and really try. Okay, go back. Okay, so when you're here, try to not switch your hips too much like a judo split, because then my hips are opening up, making my weight kind of shift back. Another thing too that will happen is if I'm here, bless you, is if my partner has like a collar, he can start walking his head this way and walking his feet that way, and then I'll just sit up and push me back. Okay? So, if you are gonna have your legs split, try to have one leg forward and another leg back. And even too, my heel is curled and I'm pushing my hip against Eric's right hip. Because now the space is closed. Now if he tries to move away, see, I can stay connected here, okay? Now let's talk about this shoulder, his right elbow. This is his frame, like this is box, right? His goal is to get his knees to his elbow, right? Then this is a box his frame he needs. My goal is to, again, disconnect it and claim this whole territory, okay? So when I'm here, you guys can always like don't close your elbow. Like there's the one where you can just bring your knee in and then abduct your leg and then you're here, right? That's one option, typically kind of hard. Another option you have here is you can like slide your right leg or the far leg underneath like you're going for home base. And then now you shove it with the bottom or top leg. And then we begin to isolate the shoulder again, okay? Another way too that you can do it is if his elbow is inside, okay? You can control this leg and you're pinning him here, okay? You're driving, now you're gonna walk this way and I'll walk backwards. And now again, I can activate my toes and then get to the shoulder isolation, okay? Now one more thing too is when he's framing, right? I try not to be in the same line as the arm bone here, the humerus here, because this frame is like, this bone is solid, okay? So if my like center line is in the same line as his tricep line, see how he's just framing here, okay? So try to be closer to the wrist. Now for the person on bottom, be careful of when your fist goes to your shoulder. The flexion here can really like hurt your elbow, okay? So again, just be careful if someone like presses you, or even too like if you're blocking the hip and they do this really fast, like they drop their hip, please be careful with your elbow. Just some safety there, okay? sorry, well, let me just keep adding stuff. So if I hug the head here, his shoulders kind of move and I can't really apply shoulder pressure. So I use my arms, and this is like the only time I really like sit like without my active toes. As I sit back, put my shoelaces on the mat, I lift them up. And then I go back to active toes. Now my shoulder pressure isn't there, okay? I row him in, and then I drive my shoulder forward. How I described it this morning is Vince was like the uke, so it reminded me of like when like holiday time where we would make like empanada, where like if you like masa or like the way, you know the thing where people used to make tortillas? That's how I envision my shoulder smashing him here, okay? Because if I just drive forward, my weight is going forward. If I'm here, I row him in, and then I put that masa dough in the middle, and then I just drive that press down this here, okay? Now the next thing I do too is I force his neck into extension. I'm not just forcing him to turn. I get my shoulder underneath, and then I force the back of his head onto the mat here. It's really uncomfortable. Now if he's framing, let's get back to this, okay? So if he's on his wrist, you gotta eat it a little bit, and then force his wrist to his shoulder, and then really put pressure, okay? If it's a little like higher, right here, I like to pop. Natural reaction is for him to bring his arm down, okay? So I pop, pull, and then I roll his arm down, and then now my wrist, or I force his wrist to his shoulder, and then that's what we worked to, the wrist lock last week. Boom, and I can finish here, okay? One thing too, if you guys want to be a little mean, not mean, but like if your partner's getting all crazy, what I like to do here is I'll pick him up. If I train with you, I do this to you. I hug your head, and then now I just bring my chest to my hand here. Okay, it's a lot of pressure here. And I'm just staying here. If you want, you guys could do this, but be careful. Also too, be careful of like your knuckles. Like I know some people like pass right here, and they fall, and then like they get hurt. So just open palm, and then right here, I'm just bringing my chest into my hand. I can wrist lock, okay? Another thing too that I like to do is if he underhooks my arm, right? I have to be careful of him shucking me above his head. Okay, now because he can escape, okay? So if that happens, like Professor Andre showed, go ahead and get that underhook. He goes over, and then I bring my hand to this side. Then review, like you can step over, you can go here, you can go to the other side, but just make sure you try not to have too much space where your femurs are vertical. Try to drop your weight and use your ribs against the face, okay? Another thing I like to do too here is if my partner has an underhook and his elbow is inside, I cup his tricep and I kind of bait him into pushing me away, like bridging into me. See, now look at the space here for my leg, okay? So once he's here, he has that underhook. I also too try to keep my heels underneath my butt so I can always spring into action. So as he bridges into me, you see, I pivot here. Now I can step over, I can attack the arm, I can pin the wrist, you can go triangles, or if you want, you could just go to mount. Okay? So those are like some side control details. Okay? Questions? No? Alright. So, now let's get to the choke. Okay? So I'm here, I use my head to like block, right? Now I'm gonna pull my same side lapel out like a guitar or a sword, whichever floats your boat. And now I'm gonna pass it over the shoulder. And I go 4 fingers over, or baseball grip, however you like. Not too low, okay? So again, if he's framing, I don't go over, I go under, over his shoulder. Now I can just grab it here, and now I can just fish it here, okay? So now, if you're familiar with this choke, my goal is to get my head to, like, I'm gonna be transferring to north-south a little bit so I can transfer my head to the other side, okay? So what's gonna be happening here is as this lapel is closing here, my form's gonna be on like this side of the head, and the lapel's gonna be on this side of the neck. Sorry, form on this neck, lapel on this neck. So as I'm here, if I decide to go here, I kind of am baiting him to walk that way because his hips are free. Now I can then come to this side. Look, I lengthen the lapel, kind of like a guitar string, and then I bring my head to this side. And now I can just finish here. Okay, this is like a really excruciating choke. It hurts. Okay? So again, I'm taking it out. I'm passing to this side. Now I can hop over, but you see this rounding here. I need to lengthen it. I need this stick. Okay? So from here, I could be cooking him. I can just be working here. I can wrist lock if I want. He bridges or something. I can force here, right? I can start passing his lapel. And then like right here, as he starts feeling this pressure, he's gonna probably bring his arm back. And I can start passing to this lapel. I can control the tricep if I want, so he can't turn away. Another thing you can do too is you can like extend your arm. Not necessarily extend up, but like lengthen your arm. All right? Wanna try it? Questions? No? So he's here. He's nice. That's it. That's it. More.
Oh.
More.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Because you see if he's here. Oh, also if it's too deep, he's not going to have the space to get his head to the other side. Okay? So have like maybe like 2 fingers of slack left on the lapel so it gives you some type of leeway to lengthen. Now he puts the arm on the same side as my body. Because now I'm going to start walking this way. Go ahead. Okay? Again, let's work to here. If you want to, you can use your shins to pin the bicep. Yeah, right here. Now it's annoying. Okay? Now when you're here, try not to allow your partner's arm to go on the other side. Put him that arm out. Like here. Okay? Because now it's kind of like, maybe you can still get it here. Go ahead. But I feel like I can like really like launch him out. Right? So if anything, always shin or in between both legs. Yeah, right here. Now it's like stop. Okay? Go ahead. And like right here on bottom, I'll be bridging. Yeah. Okay? You got it? So let's go 2.5 and then 2.5. 1, 2, 3.